Welcome back. I'm Uncle Bob. I'm here with Jingo Jim. Jingo Jim says on his Twitter profile here, he's literally the hottest crypto rapper in the world.
That's right.
His pronouns, he goes by the pronouns pump or pamp.
I would appreciate it if you would respect those pronouns too.
Right. I've known Jim for a little bit in the space, but it's the first time we've met face to face. And he's a really talented guy, really talented musician. He's got a whole back catalogue of wicked tunes. I've hung around with musicians before, and I'm just I'm like a recreational user. This guy is the chronic. He does this. It's his full time. It's his everyday, and it shows because I don't know if anybody's seen his latest rap video. Jim, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so my most recent video, I released it a couple of days ago, is called RLP, which stands for Rebasing Liquidity Provision. It's a song that I felt like making after I got all hyped up for the launch of the liquidity staking window for the coreDEX Delta platform. So kind of my shtick with Jingo Jim is to take a popular rap tune and take the beat and just kind of Weird Al it myself. And I used OPP by Naughty by Nature, which is a great song. Like, everybody should just go back and listen to OPP by Naughty by Nature. I used that. I put in RLP, and the rest is kind of history. It just sort of wrote itself. I used a lot of the technicals that they wrote about in the Medium articles introducing the project. And the rest is history, man. It was a successful launch. A lot of people really liked it, and I'm really appreciative of all the support.
Drop a load on him. RLP, how can I explain it? I'll take it frame by frame it to have you all send underneath the claimant. R is for rebate, so for liquidity, people provision. Capital source for the depths, new invention, busted. It's sort of like another way to call it share a token. Rewards, common relative proportion. The idea of being guaranteed liquid market will make it possible to transact and beat by option. You ever seen a color pudding like the strike price? But the break even has you pumping brakes and thinking twice. The premiums are functions of the volatility. They solved that problem with open vesting liquidity. Not a competitor with C to the O to the R to the E. Delta tokenomics are new. Oh, that's why it's scary. It's RIP time LSW is when they make it. Don't ask your wife or mommy, take a look at you to say it. How many brothers out there know just what I'm getting at? Who think it's wrong to have a savings and be holding cash? Well, if you do get RLP, be who you wanna be. And if you don't, then check rule 3. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with RLP? Every last on me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with RLP? Now, unrelated, an RLP is what you get when you're sliding in the home with Jingo Jim, but that's different. It's hard to keep focus on the token, baby, I know, but the rebasing happens when the limited window closes. In a telegram message, X3 said it's progressive. The rate of the rise of the price of the mint is gonna be aggressive. Now here comes the tip. Get rewarded up to 30%. Damn, that's hardcore. Have you ever had an army try to show you his portfolio? It's all just GME, AMC, BB, and fake Doge. He all pretending like he buff it when it getting banked. He bought the top and going under, now the price is tanked. You flash your MetaMask and showing what it's all about. You bought some ETH in 2020 when it bottomed out. You roll your profit into LGE 1, 2, and 3. And you be damned if you pass up this opportunity. This ain't a rebase token like you ever seen before. Say RRP, watch your investment grow. And when you get in early, make sure that it counts. You're now down with a discount. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with RLP? Every last lady. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with RLP? All ladies. My boys reverted X3. They had a vision of competition of the limited staking window. The smart contract will distribute RLP to Jingo Jim and his homies, all of the other participants. Go live on Uniswap and then the farming will commence. Rebasing will begin concurrently with all of that. It's automated, coded right into the contract. Referral system gonna blow up my investment then. I'm gonna sit back and watch all that money coming in. Exciting, isn't it? A special kind of business. You could help provide liquidity for Delta derivatives. RLP, for sure, I'm going to admit it. When coreDEX Delta launches, damn Skippy, I'm with it. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with RLP? You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. You down with RLP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with RLP?
The team behind the Delta project, which is the tune that you've done, it's about Delta Finance. They're behind this too. How did you get into Core, and why is this relationship so strong for you?
I got into Core because of you, Uncle Bob. You were the person that told me about Core. And
Yeehaw!
I tell you what, man, you told me about Core and I jumped in when it was about $400. And it was quite the ride, and still is. Core is still a viable token and one of the hottest coins in the space. I mean, that Core team is absolutely world class. So I heard about Core from you, and that is evidenced by the shout out that I give you in my original Core rap that I did, where I say Uncle Bob Crypto said DYOR. I didn't. We're feeling good so far. I just aped in, and it was one of the best things that could have happened. The community is fantastic. The team is absolutely world class. That Core brand and the Core project is going to go a long, long, long way. What got me, I went for the gains, and then I stayed for the community. And the potential that the project has. It's just literally unlimited potential. They're doing what nobody else could do. Here's the thing: the Core project gets a lot of. Some people ignore it, and some people sleep on it. They get a lot of. There's a lot of enemies for some reason, and the reason is this is from one of the creators of the project was. It's because they made a protocol without anybody's permission. He said, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to cozy up to all the central exchanges, and you're supposed to cozy up to all of the crypto Twitter guys and give everybody, an allotment and this and that. And they didn't do any of that. They just made a 4chan post and launched the LGE, the first liquidity generation event. Absolutely top of the class, dude. They're great. Can't say enough about them.
That's interesting. Yeah, they didn't, and they still haven't been kind of properly recognized by the community. I mean, projects with much less about them. I mean, let's be honest about it. Core have been copied fucking tons of times. What I say, imitation is the best form of flattery. Hundreds of times. There's been so many Core clones, but yet it's not on Binance. It's not on any of the big exchanges. It's still on Uniswap. And in some ways, it's been contained, as it were, on Uniswap. Leading into Delta, what's Core's connection with Delta, and what makes the Delta project so interesting for you?
Okay, what Core's connection to Delta is that Core is the core of this ecosystem that they're building. Core liquidity providers, as you may know, had their liquidity locked up forever in the smart contract, and that liquidity is being put to use when they launch their own decentralized exchange called coreDEX. coreDEX is going to have two separate parts to it. One is coreDEX, and the other is coreDEX Delta. coreDEX Delta is a derivatives exchange. No one has launched a successful derivatives exchange for crypto. You can buy futures and stuff like that on certain centralized exchanges, but it's not the same. It's not what coreDEX, what the Core team is offering here. The connection between core and delta is that, when transactions happen on the coreDEX platform and the coreDEX delta platform, the liquidity providers for both coreDEX delta and the liquidity providers for the core token are all going to benefit from that, as well as the holders of core, when the demand for core increases because of the runaway success that will be the coreDEX delta platform. We're talking billions in volume. It's an inevitability.
How are they going to be able to do that though? How are they able to get I remember when Core, so we're saying it was a fair launch. When Core first launched on Uniswap, I remember in the first day at 100 million in volume. I don't know where that came from. I don't know how these guys, or who they're connected to, the market makers and whatever. You've just said billions. Why do you say billions? How are they going to be able to attract that level of funding, of money?
Yeah, okay. So there's two answers to that. One, how they're going to be able to achieve the volume, I think is evident in just sort of the relationship between market derivatives and actual like stock exchanges. The derivatives market absolutely dwarfs all stock exchanges. And we're talking about just like generating value from contracts based on the future value of these stocks. And to the tune of like several orders of magnitude larger as the derivatives exchange. So you have to believe that if and when they do launch their successful crypto derivatives exchange, it's going to be something similar to the ratio of stocks to stock derivatives, or at least leaning in that direction. And of course, that's the hope, because we're all trying to get in on the ground floor as investors. The second part to that question of how they're going to make it successful and guarantee liquidity for that type of volume is because of a brand new tokenomic that they're creating for the Delta token. They show in a series of articles that they launched on Medium a few charts which show that the closer an option is, like a call option, the closer it is to its strike price or break-even price, the volatility increases. And the same thing with a put option. Now, as volatility increases, that makes it difficult to attract new investors because the volatility is so high. What they're doing to ensure a less volatility is they're using open vested liquidity, meaning this: when you purchase a Delta token, you get immediately 10% of your purchase, and the rest is locked up in a smart contract, which then you get credit for over the span of about 2 weeks. Well, of 2 weeks, right? Now, what happens in this 2-week span is you are able to buy, or you're able to write up a contract for an option, either a call or a put. And that vested liquidity that remains to be vested by you guarantees the liquidity on the option itself, making sure that the people who buy the option are going to get their payout. People that sell the option are going to be able to get their premium. It's brilliant. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out of the whole thing, because by purchasing the Delta to buy, or to sell the option, you are ensuring the liquidity for your option on a case-by-case basis, basically.
Do you know what makes this really interesting is because if it was anybody else, you'd have your doubts, or you think that they're putting a spin on it, or in crypto there's so many we're the next big thing sort of thing. But yeah. What you do have here, a bit like Andre on tech, whenever he announces a project, people kind of know he's he's almost like a Ronaldo, a Lionel Messi, a Tom Brady of the crypto sphere. And an unsung hero, maybe because he's anonymous, is the coder for Core, who has created this protocol. It has been copied countless times. It's still being copied. Now they're copying it on fucking Binance chain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
I want to know from you why you have put your name to it, and why you think it's going to do so well.
Okay, so now it's sort of nebulous, the actual core team. I don't know if it's one coder or multiple coders, but they go by the names of Revert and X3, and there may be more for all I know. Why I think that they are game changers. I mean, full disclosure, I'm a fanboy. Now, I'm not on their payroll or anything like that, but I am a big time fanboy. I do think that they're basically like the Tom Brady of crypto. What I think that they have is the ability to, they have expertise in finance. Okay. They don't just have the ability to come up with a token with like novel tokenomics. They have legit real world experience in derivatives and understand much of the monetary theory that drive the derivatives market. It's uncanny the way that they're able to translate that knowledge into their tech product. It's unreal. So there's no doubt in my mind that these guys are going to continue changing the DeFi space, because Core changed the DeFi world. That's a non-controversial statement. Delta token and the coreDEX Delta is going to change the DeFi world again many times over. That's just, to me, that's a horse worth betting on. Look, when we talk about investing and we talk about creating like fuck you money, right? If you're going to bet on a horse, if all we're doing
is on a thoroughbred,
yeah, then you're going to bet on a thoroughbred. I mean, these guys have shown time and time and time again that they are world-class developers. And the fact that they haven't already been like bought out by Microsoft or Google.
What I was just about to say is that they don't seem the kind that, I mean, even by the developers' statements on Twitter, they're not sellouts. Okay, so what we have now, give me the roadmap to when this thing launches. And you also, today I signed up, I put some money into liquidity on Jingo Jim's referral code. Now I have a referral code, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to put both underneath and you can choose. Okay. Tell me what these next few days, what they are involving, what's happening, and how people can get involved in Delta before the bomb hits.
Okay, so currently the limited staking window is open. It has been opened and it's going to remain open for the next 10 days. Well, a little less than 10 days. They broke over 3,000 Ethereum contributed to the limited staking window in the first couple of hours. And I've heard the developers of the token say that they expect the amount deposited to be in the tens of thousands of ETH.
Wow.
So the plan is, from what I hear, is the limited staking window is going to open. It's going to run for 10 days. Upon completion, as I say in my rap, upon completion of the limited staking window, RLP is going to be distributed to Jingo Jim and his homies. Everybody who contributed to the limited staking window is going to get their RLP. What
is RLP?
RLP is the rebasing liquidity provision. Rebasing, rebasing. But it's a reimagining of rebasing.
I'm feeling a tingle.
That's right, man.
In my jingles.
So think about this. Nobody's ever done a rebasing liquidity token. This is something that they're inventing before our eyes. Now, what happens at the end of the limited staking window? Everybody gets their RLP, the rebasing liquidity provision token. Now, also what happens at the end of the limited staking window, the RLP rebases to 150% of its value. So the cost to mint a new RLP is going to increase by 150% on the first day, and then every day for 10% after that, which is to say that the number of possible minted RLP is technically infinite, although there will reach a time where the cost to mint an RLP will far exceed just like the total value of all the currency in the world. So what you have is not a token that is limited by a finite supply. It's actually limited by time. So the sooner people invest in RLP, the more they'll be able to capitalize on their investment, including now during the limited staking window, because as it started, there was a 30% bonus on everything you contributed. That's going to go downward in a linear fashion for the next 10 days, roughly 3% per day, for everybody that contributes. Now, once this limited staking window closes and the RLP rebases and the farming begins, everybody who's holding RLP is going to be farming Delta at that point. Delta is going to launch on Uniswap, and people are going to be aping into Delta, and we'll see what happens with that. I mean, it's going to be an interesting launch. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people that probably won't understand the tokenomics of the Delta token, which is that you get 10%. And it increases in your wallet over time, over a period of 2 weeks. And so then we're going to see the value of, we're going to see what the market value of Delta is. And then after that, I don't know what the plan is for exactly when the derivatives exchange is going to launch. You have to assume that the token that's powering this exchange, the Delta token, being launched is a harbinger of the actual exchange launching very shortly after that. So we're talking, they're going to be launching the coreDEX Delta and the coreDEX all in Q1 of 2021 is what I've read. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is how I understand it.
I think I heard an expression recently, if somebody does something once, they're likely to do it again. That can be a negative thing. Like if somebody rips you off or like fucks you around, they'll probably do it again. Core have already proven that they are like they're trailblazers, mavericks.
Absolutely.
They are like one-offs, shall we say.
Yeah.
And it, like you say, anyway, I'm glad you put me onto this. And
for sure, man.
Look, we've got a 10-day lead up. If this gains any traction at all, or even if it doesn't gain any traction, I'll be happy to have you back on and we can chat more about it. Maybe get a shared screen up and go through some more of the specifics. So if anybody wants to see a video with me and Jim, go more into the specifics, go into the paperwork, go into the kind of the literature a little bit more, put a comment below. I'd love to do it. I'm sure you'd
love to do it too. If anybody wants to log on and watch something like that, like bring your pens and pencils, because it's going to take a little bit of explaining, because in order, imagine trying to like delve into the mind of literally 1 or 2 or 3 of the most important financial theorists of our generation. And that's nothing short of what the core team is. Absolutely. If I could, Bob, I want to give a shout out to all of the content creators in the core community. And I apologize if I leave anybody out. Twitter, an investor by the name of Crypto Memes with a Z. He is the hottest crypto memer in the space. He has done so much to propel the core team, the core project forward. 333 Crypto, all of the admins on the core Telegram site, CryptoX, man, whoop, everybody, man. Everybody is pulling together to really make this project a success. Of course, we're rallying around a once-in-a-lifetime financial product here. It's just unreal.
Man, well, look, Jim, thank you so much for, you know what, you really know, you've really dove deep into this project. You've really given us a flavor. I really thank you, because you've got a lot of passion for the project, and it shows through, and I'm sure people are gonna see that. Tell us, anybody watching now, where they can find you, and any other sort of links, whether musically, anything like that. If you want to do that, here's the space. Tell the people now where they can find
so I haven't gone public with my actual like serious music. You've heard it. I write punk rock and all kinds of other stuff, and I'll probably go public with that eventually if anybody wants to hear it. But currently you can find me on Twitter at Jingo Jim Says, SAYS, and you can find me on Telegram at Jingo Jim. That's where I'm at. I mean, I'm there every day. I'm living this stuff, man. Just like, we're basically DeFi degen lifers at this point.
We are. But listen, Jim, again, congrats on the video. First class.
Thank you.
Let's hope. I'd love to do this again sometime.
I'd love it, Bob. That'd be great, man. Good. Thanks for having me.